Hey guys, David Patrick Green here at dpghackhollywood.com. Like, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about on-camera audition technique. I've done hundreds of auditions for dozens and dozens of different casting directors, different TV shows, movie producers, etc. And so I've learned a few things that might be helpful to you guys. So there's a few main things that really you need to consider that are technical beyond your acting. And that's what I want to focus on, because obviously I can't give you individual acting notes because I don't know you. Suffice it to say, you should be yourself, because that is what's going to make you unique and separate you from everyone else. But today we're going to talk about light, sound, lighting. Well, light, sound. We're back. Light, sound, camera, and movement. Okay? So lighting is one of the most important things, because if you're too dark, they can't see you clearly, there's a bunch of shadows that are distracting, then it's going to make the first impression of your video that it is maybe coming from an amateur. And it doesn't have to look like that, even if you are an amateur. So right now, as you can see, I have fairly even light. So this is probably going to work in terms of light. I would probably include a little more of my torso. I'd probably want to go back to there so they can get a sense of, your physique, whether you are, whatever, tall, thin, athletic, I don't know what the other descriptions are these days. I don't want to insult anyone, but whatever your body type is, that they can get a sense of it. Okay? So the lighting is really important. You don't have to use external lights. I'm using natural light right now. I'm on a balcony, and it's really incidental light. It's reflected light that is not shining directly on me, and that's why there's not a lot of harsh shadows, and it works pretty well this way. Okay, so if you're inside, you can open your curtains. You don't want it to be really backlit so you're a silhouette. But if you are using artificial lighting and not natural light like this, then the main thing, the background doesn't matter that much. But the main thing is that your face is relatively evenly lit. If it's a really edgy role, you can go a little bit edgy, but all it's probably going to do is make it look like you're trying too hard, okay? Again, you don't have to act edgy to be edgy. The words and your actions in the project are often what determines whether you're, a nice person or not so nice person, etc. Okay? So I would just aim for even light so they know what you look like, because a lot of the times, especially if you're starting out, these people have never seen you before. So this is their first and possibly only impression of you. So you want to really just try and reflect who you are fairly clearly, and don't dull yourself up to try and make it look like the character that's written in the breakdowns. Okay, I used to do that all the time. It's a big mistake. I would almost say do the opposite of what it says, because for one thing, you will be the only one to do that. Everyone else will be dressing like the skater boy or, punk girl or whatever it is. Okay, so that's all I really need to tell you about lighting. If you want to use more artificial lights, there's really sort of three traditional lights in the lighting setup for shoots, and that is key, back, and fill. The key light is, this one. The backlight lights the background, which separates you from the background, and then the fill is probably going to be from the side, or it even could be over the top. So it's, there's lighting the background, and then there's the light that's at your back, and that gives you sort of like a halo effect, which will also separate you from the background, and just brings the whole scene to life. Because if just you are lit and the background's not lit, then you kind of look like, a person in a dark closet, which is fine, but it's not optimal. Okay, let's talk about sound. Sound, your voice should be clear. So again, if you're just using a cell phone camera, which is what I'm using, obviously it's very high quality now. It's incredible, the technology. But you just want to be clear. So from here, I think you can probably still hear me plenty clearly. If you want to go further back, you can, because at first it's a little bit daunting talking to a tiny, not talking to the tiny little camera, because as an actor, you're not talking to the camera, you're talking to a person, and the camera is, right here. So I'm going to be looking at a spot just away from the camera. So this would be kind of how I'm talking to somebody. And if there was somebody else that I'm talking to, you want to be able to look across the camera to another spot. Okay, so your eyes are going to stay in this sort of field. You can add more people as you need to, if they're taller, they're shorter, whatever, but don't use a lot of exaggerated movement. But anyway, we're talking about sound now, so I'm getting distracted. ADD. Okay, so that's sound. You just want it good and clear. It doesn't have to be professional. You don't need a boom mic. You don't need a floor mic. You don't need any of that stuff. They're never going to notice so long as you are intelligible, which means they can hear you intelligently. Okay, so the other part of sound is speech, of course. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'll throw it in. Make sure that you are understandable. And if you're someone who, maybe mumbles a lot and your friends and people are always saying what to you, then listen to your audition and make sure that you are understandable, like clear. Okay? If it requires you to slow down your speech, that is fine, because even though it sounds like you're speaking really slowly, as it turns out, a lot of people do speak slowly, especially, it's funny, people who are powerful often speak slowly because they're not worried about whether you think it's fast enough or slow enough. They are confident in themselves, okay? So make sure your speech is clear. You can't be too clear, okay? Let's talk about the camera. So I kind of covered that a little bit already. The camera should basically, chest, shoulders, head. That's all you need. Background, again, just something that's not too distracting. But again, it's not really a deal breaker. Lots of actors book stuff with all kinds of stuff in the background. You got to shoot where you are, right? So if you're on vacation and you get an audition, and I've had this, I was in the Dominican Republic and had to do an audition with palm trees in the background. Doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't really matter, so don't get too carried away with it. The distance is this, you want a decent quality camera, but obviously this is good enough, which is a cell phone camera. So honestly, the only thing that would be missing is how does the camera get held, right? You want it on a non-moving platform, okay? So like a tripod, something like that. Or if you can't get a tripod, then set it up on a, stack up some shoe boxes on a table and, create a little bracket out of some books so it stands up and it doesn't move. That's that. No big deal. And then finally, movement. Okay. While I would normally tell you don't worry about something like that, in an audition, because the camera is so close to you and it is it's close and there's nothing else, like if you leave the camera, if I go off here because I'm making a lot of movements, then you literally are disappearing to them, and it's going to affect the sound quality as well. And it's just weird to go off camera back on camera. You want to minimize your movements to the greatest extent possible, okay? Because there really is no reason to move. Anything that is written down as an action, like you throwing punches, kicks, kissing, like any kind of action like that, you can almost completely ignore it. What you want to do is just play the emotion of whatever it is that is happening, okay? So if somebody hits you, you might go, I can't believe you just hit me. If you're kissing someone, you might just go, wow, right? If you're scared of something, you might go, That's it. I've auditioned for Predator, the movies, and that's how you look at an alien, right? You're like, what is that? Right? That's it. So, economy of movement is paramount. Okay? Economy of movement. It all happens in here. You don't have to show somebody that you can do kung fu unless it says you need to be able to do kung fu. So then you would stop the camera and do another scene where you're demoing your spin kicks and, roundhouse kicks and punches and backflips, whatever. So that's basically it, guys. Lighting, sound, camera, movement. Keep your movements to a minimum. Again, right here, so like a few inches away from the camera. You want to practice that a lot. Practice having the camera in your face so it doesn't bother you, right? So, and it's weird. Like, it took me a long time to get used to it. I don't even know if I'm still used to it. I'm a very, very, very self-conscious person for whatever reason. And so I'm always thinking in the back of my head, like, if somebody else is in the room, they're listening, and they're probably thinking I'm doing a terrible job acting. So practice a lot of this stuff, standing there talking with the camera right in your grill so that you don't care. You just don't care. It's just natural. Hey, how are you? That's great. Hey, nice to see you. Amazing. Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, I went to the library and the book I wanted wasn't even there. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it. If you have any thoughts, questions, if I missed anything, I'm just trying to keep things simple because most people get a lot of ideas in their head about what is needed. And really what is needed is just a very, very simple rendition of your impression of the material. And then they can go, okay, that was something that's different from everybody else. Now the question is, should we use this person? Can we use this person? Really, that's what it'll boil down to, right? We want to use this person. They're very good. The question is now, can we use them? Because there are so many different reasons why they may want to use an actor, but they can't. I'm not going to get into them, but I have lost many roles to, we wish we could hire you, David. We're so sorry we couldn't, but we blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys, that's it. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, share. Share. Okay? Talk to you later.